Hello and welcome to part 2 of this video on comparing poetry with drama. Continuing on from the previous video, we're now going to carry on with analysing our poem Sunny Prestatyn by Philip Larkin. We're now taking a look at voice. This poem is in the third person and there isn't that much that changes from that, but I've identified a few moments that are a bit interesting to do with the idea of voice or presences within the poem. I've identified here the word come is an imperative, which simply means a command word. It really invites the reader into the poem and brings the picture to life and makes the poem very engaging, as does this phrase here, laughed, really brings the picture of the girl to life, and the idea that we're in the poem and we're being commanded to engage with the poem also makes the poem more engaging. Here I've identified the use of the passive voice. She was slapped up, and this really emphasises her passivity and her lack of action. She is a photo, and so anything can be done to her, and this is something that's quite frightening within the poem, is that she is very passive in all the aggression that takes place towards her. Here, the phrase, the name, Titch Thomas, seems quite ironic. There is the irony of a pathetic name and the idea of the smallness of people fighting against capitalism, which makes this kind of irony almost a bit bittersweet and sad. The idea here of something very non-specific, someone, something, it's very non-committal and really contrasts with the kind of passionate violence in the rest of the poem. Here, what's really interesting is that the tear is active and the woman in the photo is still passive. The tear is leaving the hand rather than the hand had a tear in it. So that's a really interesting moment of phrasing, is that the tear is something that's active, but the picture that's been torn is still remaining passive. We now need to take a look at some of the contexts of this poem. There are many contexts to this poem, but I've just picked out a couple that I find interesting. It's also really important for me to mention at this point that even if you haven't studied this poem and it's not on your syllabus or it's not part of your set text, these skills that I'm talking about and the method of analysis that I'm using.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking for an amazing A-level English literature resource, join me today in my series of engaging bite-sized video tutorials. Together, we will concisely cover all the important concepts required by your exam board specification, as well as practically apply what we have learnt through exam-style questions, focusing on how best to structure your answers in order to maximise marks. See you soon, and together, let's make A-level English literature a walk in the park.